Do you want to know how to jumpstart, grow, build your email list? Want to know how to actually have it explode? I mean, let's be honest. I'm not sure I know anyone who doesn't want that to happen, right? Now, if this is you, then stick with me because by the end of this video, you are going to know my foolproof 3 steps to jumpstarting your email list and really growing it. I am an e-commerce sales coach helping hundreds of female entrepreneurs just like you grow their e-commerce businesses. Now, for the best advice on using virality marketing and making those intelligent marketing decisions to grow your own e-commerce business, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a video on Thursdays. And today, I'm going to walk you through those 3 activities to jumpstarting your email list. Okay, you guys, we are going to be talking about email lists today. I mean, what else is super exciting, right? Who else is so pumped to be talking about email lists? Because if you haven't heard yet, you've got to build your email list, right? You've just got to. This has been absolutely drilled into me pretty much by every single mentor, every single coach that I've worked with. Seriously, guys, every mentor, every coach I've worked with has been like, you've got to build your database. You've got to build your list. Even starting with hospitality. And you kind of think like, what? Like, it's a brick and mortar business. Why do we need to build our email list? Why do we need to build this, offline digital thing? And I can tell you that if I'm going to be honest, I don't know how we would have gotten through the shutdowns in the pandemic without our email list. Right. It has been a lifesaver. Even now, I'm not sure if you know, but Sydney has shut down again. And our email list is what is keeping us afloat, right? And you know why? Because it gives us the ability to talk directly to our customer so that we can redirect them, we can remind them, and we can make them an offer we can make them an offer so that they can order and pick up to use a delivery service or to still get their desserts and burgers, right? Okay, so I don't know if that sentence didn't come out right at all. Okay, seriously, guys, our email list has been our lifesaver. Okay, and it's really super funny because at the time of collecting them, as I said before, I was like, I had no idea why I was even doing that. I have no idea why I was even collecting them and what I was even going to do with these emails, right? And I was like, we're a brick and mortar business. Why would we ever need to email our customers? And I am so glad that I listened to my coach and I collected them because our emails and our ability to pivot have been the only things that have actually kept us afloat during these times. So that was over 7 years ago, right? And don't worry, I am actually going to go into a little bit of how we started collecting them online a little later in this training. So then I want to fast forward today. And Russell Brunson, so he's one of my mentors now, he's adamant that our email list is the number one thing that we need to be focusing on building. The number one thing. And in fact, he's the one who told us that our email list should be generating revenues of at least $1 per person per month, right? Think about that. So if you want to be making $1,000 a month, you need at least 1,000 people on your email list. If you want to be making $5,000 a month, then you should be aiming for at least 5,000 people on your email list. Okay, so it makes the maths pretty simple when you think about it that way. So today I'm following this principle to the T. Okay, with even our new e-commerce brand. So it's called BakerBox NYC. We are currently in pre-launch phase. We haven't launched yet, but we are spending our time right now just focusing on one thing. Now, guess what it is? Guess what it is? It is building our email list. Okay, that is what we're focusing on. And you know what? Building an email list from scratch when you don't have an audience is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie. You know me well enough by now. But it is super hard, right? Who else is trying this? Who else is starting from zero or has started from zero and has kind of noticed how hard it is to build an audience, to build your email list? Let me know in the comments because I can tell you that when we started collecting them maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was a slow burn, super slow burn, an absolute trickle. And only now are we hitting sort of those 3 digits and growing it a lot more rapidly. Because I can tell you that like with almost everything, your first 100 people are going to be the hardest to get. This is the thing. This is why people lie when they tell you that, you can go from 0 to 100 in a day or whatever, because that is actually the hardest part. Now, going from 100 to 1,000 is actually not as difficult. It's not as difficult. It is that first bit of momentum that is always going to be the hardest for you. That's going to be the hardest to get. Okay, so it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be a bit of a slog, but if you don't give up, man, like when you get that momentum, it's like with most things, right? It's going to blow up and it can make you a lot of money. All right, so who's excited for this, right? Because that is super exciting. Who here is committed to making their email list a priority? Okay, now the important thing to know is that while there is a strategy to jumpstart and grow your email list, it's going to be all about testing, right? We need to have an engineering approach to everything that we do. We have to make intelligent marketing decisions. That's what we're all about, okay? And the great thing about this, having this engineering approach, is that there is a system. There's a way to do it systematically so that you implement something and then you look at the numbers, right? You look at the numbers to see exactly where something is working and where it's not. And so what I'm going to touch on is So I'll touch on what some of this looks like in the context of growing your email list. Okay, the first activity that you need to do is to create your leverage loops. Okay, I mentioned this last week, but I'm going to mention it again. Okay, create your leverage loops, because if you want any chance of growing your email list quickly, then leverage loops is what you need to have. Okay. Yes, you can have a simple lead magnet. I know some of you might have a 10% or 15% or $20 or $10 discount offer for people who sign up to your email list. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm not, I don't have anything wrong. I don't have anything against that, because we do need an always on incentive or an always on lead magnet to have people join our email list. Okay. But this is a little bit of a wasted opportunity as well. Right? Like, I just want that to sit with you for a minute, because I know that we get told, yes, get people to just sign up organically to your email list. Totally want you to do that. But you also want to be maximizing or optimizing every opportunity that you have. So how do we do that? We do that by creating leverage loops. So you want to be thinking about how you can create a leverage loop in almost everything that you do so that your audience is getting involved in spreading the word about you. Okay, that's kind of almost the bottom line. And because this, guys, this is how we start to create virality. Okay, let me know if you get this. So if I go back, because I know I mentioned with my hospitality businesses, I mentioned in the intro. So let me talk a little bit about how we did this. So we implemented a referral marketing strategy. So what we began with, so this strategy was purely online. We actually didn't do any of those like business card drops and things like that, which I know is a very popular tactic in brick and mortar stores, but we didn't do that. We just kept it online. So only people who came to our website would see this. And it started out probably a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. I'm going to be honest. So we offered a $20 voucher for 5 email addresses. So if you knew 5 friends who would absolutely love the choc pot or who would love Stacks on Burgers, give us their email addresses and we'll give you a $20 voucher. And it was okay, but it wasn't really the most effective that it could be. Okay, I'm not going to, and also when we were trying to think about what our outcomes were, it wasn't really just about getting the email addresses. Really, we wanted to drive, sales. We wanted people to come in. All right, so we're like, okay, let's change it up a little bit. Okay, we looked at the numbers and we realized, and that's what we did, because we looked at the numbers and realized that it isn't as effective as it could be. So after a few more iterations, we simplified it and we just went with a straight give $20, get $20. Okay, so when they sent a referral, when that person came in and bought something from us with their voucher, their $20, then the referrer would also get a $20 voucher. So we not only got a sale, but we also and a new customer. But the referrer, the person also won, because with that referral that they made, they also got a $20 gift voucher. Okay, and then the new customer also had a chance to get another $20 by referring someone else. And they had the chance to refer someone else, and so on and so on. And this is when you start to create leverage loops. Okay, so, and you've probably seen a lot of other businesses do this, right? It's not like it's rocket science. For example, I know that, businesses like Stitch Fix do this. I know that DoorDash and Uber do this. I know like Colourpop, Fayety, Budsies, Indochina, like there's a whole host of brands and e-commerce businesses that do this, okay? And there's a reason why, because it works. It's effective, okay? So many businesses. So if nothing else, referral marketing is a very simple leveraged loop that you can start with, and an effective one too. Okay, now another one that I want to mention is a viral contest. Now, this is what we're actually doing right now with BakerBox, and we've already collected hundreds of emails. So this one's a fun one. You get to have fun with this, okay? And your participants also get to have some fun. And you can really, really supercharge building your email list. Now, this one is a little bit different to referral marketing, because referral marketing is where you are incentivizing people to refer people to actually buy from you, right? Which means that there's gonna be a little bit more of a lead time, okay? A lead time in creating those loops. Now, with a viral contest, you're not actually going to be incentivizing people to buy from you. You're mainly just incentivizing people to join your list. Okay, do you kind of see the difference here? So you're not really incentivizing them to buy. You just want them to be on your list. And the great thing about that is that, therefore, it happens much quicker. Okay, getting that virality can actually occur more quickly than a lot of the other strategies. Okay, so the whole concept behind a viral contest is that people enter to win a prize, and it has to be a good prize. It has to be a prize that people actually want. So this is another one where you need to be making some intelligent decisions. Okay, looking at the numbers and being like, is this a prize that people want? And if not, what is? Okay, and you need to test that. Now, when they enter, they get more points by referring other people into the contest. And as you can imagine, that new person who entered will then be incentivized to share with more people. And then that person is incentivized to share with more people. And that's how you create that next leverage loop, right? Can you guys see that? Hopefully this is pretty simple. I'm trying to break this down as simply as possible, and I hope that was pretty simple. Let me know if that was confusing. It's simple yet effective. That's why I love this strategy to create a leveraged loop. Okay, so guys, that's the first activity, and I've given you a couple of examples, but really, as I said, as I always say, your imagination is the limit. Right? Wherever you just want to be thinking, I just want to talk about this strategy because bottom line is that you need to be thinking about how you create leverage loop. Now, how you actually implement that, how you do that, as I said, imagination is the limit, okay? But the core here, the understanding here is that you need to create leverage loops. All right, okay, now let's talk about the second activity, which is to create your irresistible offer. You need to provide something to your audience that is compelling enough for them to want to share it. Okay, again, seems like a no-brainer, but I also know that sometimes we get stuck with this. Okay, now let's again think about this intelligently, because I know a lot of us are guided by our gut, or we're guided by our intuition. We know how much work we put into our business, and we don't want to give too much away with our offer. Okay, so again, let me know if this is landing with you guys. Okay, we definitely don't want to be losing money. Right? And I get it because I've been there before. I know. Okay, but what I want to do is to think with our heads instead. Okay, so we're going to park that. We're going to think with our heads instead. And now we're going to think about it in terms of numbers. So let me ask you a question. Do you currently know what your cost of acquisition is? Right? Commonly known as CAC, right? Your customer acquisition cost. Let me know, you guys, if you're on here, if you know what this number is for you. My bet is, for some of you, if you know it, awesome. But my bet is that for a lot of you, you probably don't know what this is, which is fine. It's totally okay, right? And maybe it's like, you need to work it out, and maybe when you do try to work it out, you're probably going to be quite surprised at how much it actually does cost. It costs a lot to acquire a customer. And that's why we are so big on how do you add value and retain your existing customers, because it's so much cheaper to actually retain. It's so much cheaper to retain a customer than it is to acquire a new one. Okay, now in e-commerce, the average CAC is currently well over $20 at least. Okay, so it actually takes more than $20 to acquire a new customer. And I want to caveat as well that, the $20 mark, that's like average e-commerce, okay? So yours could sit below that, which is awesome, or it could sit well above that. Okay, now I would hazard a guess that if yours is actually sitting well below $20, then you're probably actually not really doing too much activity to actually acquire new customers, okay? Which may be why you're not seeing new ones come through. Okay, let's say it's already costing you $20 to acquire a customer. So then making an offer for, say, a $20 gift voucher actually costs the same. Can you see that? So it costs me $20 to acquire a customer. So if I was to offer a $20 gift voucher, hey, it's actually in line with my CAC. Okay, so you spent the same amount amount of money to acquire them as you might through, say, ads or through organic means, right? Do you guys see that? So do you see that, how that equates? And if you're actually providing $20 to the referrer as well, so remember here in our first example of a leveraged loop, we were like, give 20, get 20. So in that scenario, you're actually going to be spending something like $40, which might be double the CAC. And you might be like, no way am I going to give that much money away. No way, right? Okay, so I get this. Okay, this is generally where we start. But I want to think about it. I want us to think about it differently. A lead that comes from a referral is going to be much more valuable because, as we know, nothing is more powerful than word of mouth. Okay, we will always listen to a friend more that has a recommendation more than anyone else. And if you've done a good job, then have confidence in the fact that you're going to make it up on the back end. Okay, now this is another concept that I'm going to talk about: front end and back end. Okay, now this then leads me into the third activity that you need to be doing. So you have your leverage loop. You've inserted your irresistible offer because you know now that all the money is made on the back end after the initial purchase. And now all you have to do is to get the message out. Okay, sounds easy, right? It sounds super easy. Yes, Deirdre, I would love to get this message out. If only it were that simple. If only it were that simple. Right, so how do we do this? We do this by creating a compelling hook. Okay, and not just creating one, but testing it. Now, this is how we start to make super intelligent decisions, because it's all well and good to come up with words or verbiage or message that you might think is good. But let's be honest. Are you the one who is going to be buying your products from yourself? Are you going to be hopping onto your website, clicking add to cart, putting your credit card in and checking out and buying? No, right? You're not. At least I hope not, because then you're going to have to rethink your whole business model, right? Too many times we come up with messaging or a hook that we think sounds great, right? And we don't put enough stock into actually testing it. What is it that our customers think? Into actually having a systemized, engineered way of putting it out there and then getting currency and feedback from our audience quickly. Right? And that's why I love to use sprint testing to do this, which is actually a way we can spend peanuts on ads, literally $25 for the week, to work out what the best message is to use with our audience. And the great thing is that this data is then usable in so many more ways, right? You can use it on sales pages, on landing pages, on your website homepage, on your emails, on your social media, your ads, your product pages, right? Really, guys, anywhere, okay? Because you've already tested this message and you're no longer guessing at what message is actually resonating with your customer because you've done your testing. To make intelligent marketing decisions, or really any decision, you need data. You need data, right? You don't need you do need your gut, but your gut is not going to be able to answer every single, is not going to provide the answer to every single question that you pose. Okay, it's just not, or at least not in a tested, systemized way, in a way that that, not only do you feel it, but like thousands and thousands of your customers feel it as well. So let's recap the 3 activities that you need to jumpstart your email list. So the first one is that we need to create a leverage loop, right? Create a leverage loop in almost everything that you do so that your audience is getting involved in spreading the word about you. Okay, now the second thing is to create an irresistible offer. You need to provide something to your audience that is compelling enough for them to want to share it. Okay, like you need to. There's no way about getting around that. And the third thing is to test your hook. Okay, so test that compelling message, that offer that you've created quickly through sprint testing. Okay, implement that engineered way to let your audience tell you what messages actually resonate the most with them. So with that said, comment below and tell me, what is your customer acquisition cost, right? I hope you've done your homework and you know what your customer acquisition cost is. Now, I'd love to know if you even know this. Do you know this for yourself, right? Because you guys, you've got to know it. Now you know exactly how to jumpstart your email list using my foolproof 3-step formula. But what about implementing? I've written a 1-page cheat sheet on what I've just spoken about so that you can have that on hand anytime you want a refresher. So if you want that, then just click on the link below and my bot, D the bot, will send it right over to you. And if you want to take what you've just learned to the next level, then come and join this free community of e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. And you can access free live training on growing your e-commerce business, right? So go join my Facebook group at the link below. So check out this video next on the 3 secrets to lowering your cost of acquisition, and then this one down here on nailing your messaging on emails. And if you like this video, hit that like button, be sure to subscribe and share it with more of your friends. And I cannot wait to see you on my next video.